friends. Rockin' Dave from North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. And it is hurricane season, my friends. Right around the corner, like literally about in a couple of days, it's the peak of the hurricanes. So everyone's got to be prepared to run like hell. Hopefully we have not such a bad one, right? Thank you so much, my friends. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry, yesterday we didn't go live. We went live Monday and kind of got thrown off because Monday was a holiday. And so I figured let me go live. Because I wanted to give you like one of these breaking news. See that? Isn't that nice? Of course, the editing is we got special effects, behind the camera scene, right? I'm just joking, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Anyways, what I was going to say is that we're going to be moving our Rockin' Ibanez to Tuesdays on, same time, 7:30 p.m. Reason being is starting in October, I'm going to be at the restaurant where I play the classical guitar every Wednesday and every Friday until the cows come home. So, LaCourte has been very good to us, giving us the gigs down here, man. And so we're just going to move the Rockin' Ibanez to Tuesday, and then we'll still do our Saturday afternoon chats and our live stream, our shows on Saturdays and Thursdays as those gigs come in. And so we really appreciate, you guys, sticking out and hanging out and everything else, man. We really do appreciate it. I'd like to give shout outs to all our subscribers. I'm getting in the process of being able to write down everyone that subscribed to my channel, so I can give a shout out to everybody, because you guys are totally worth it, man. You guys are what makes everything go. Mitch Heyman, Adam EVH, what's happening? Mr. Bruce, what's happening, my friends? I think I seen Michael Bean. And I know, R2R3 Locking Up, what's happening, buddy? It's always a pleasure seeing you guys. Jim Geetrid, the man, the name, the legend. And what's happening, Mitch Heyman? What's happening? Absolute mayhem. Yeah, rock you like a hurricane. Yeah, we'll be rocking a hurricane, all right. As long as they don't rock us, right? Like blow us right out of town. So, of course, sponsors by, who. Da-da. Give you those bad boys. In honor of Mr. Tone King himself. I like the Tone King. I think he's a cool guy. Another cool guy that I definitely always want to give a shout out to, because I think this guy is really cool, is I don't know if you guys ever seen Robert's Guitar Dungeon. That guy's got a lot of good insight. He's a great guitar player, even though he might not think that of himself. I think he's a great guitar player. Oh, there's Michael B. How you doing, my friend? Sorry about this. Yeah, Michael B. I love your setup, man. Dude, that totally rocks, man. What you got going on is just awesome. But yeah, like I was saying with Robert's Guitar Dungeon, he's a good guy. If guys get a chance to subscribe to his channel, he posts videos every Wednesday and Saturday, and he's got a lot of insight, like retail experience, because he did work at a couple of music stores. He's got a lot of good insight. He's got a video up on the process, or really what to expect when you sell your gear, and how you have to really look at things, how they really are. And that's what I like about him, because he'll let you know if it's his opinion, and he doesn't really sugarcoat things, but he's not rude or anything like that. He's just a down-to-earth guy. And he had this video on, Wednesday he had a video on, I think it was top 12 amplifiers, or top 10. But he's got really good, a little bit insight on one of the amps that I never knew of, is the Soldano amps, the 100 watt version, the head version. And apparently Eddie Van Halen used that amp for the for unlawful carnal knowledge, probably the recording and the tour. Because the way the amp sounds, it's more like as close to his old Marshall as possible, but all zooped up. And then I think right after that, he hooked up with Peavey to create the 5150. And of course now, Eddie Van Halen's very popular. He's always been very popular, but his brand is becoming popular. And but yeah, Robert's Guitar Dungeon is a great guy, man. Really like what you do, Robert. And he also has that's like his thing is that Share the Gear or Share the Music is one of his sponsors. Basically donating unwanted, unused gear to people who, basically cannot afford to buy new equipment. Especially a lot of kids. It's I'm moving up on the chats here. Sorry, guys. So I really think it's a great thing because, as we all know, the Joe Wentz Project, Mr. Joe Wentz, dude, you're the man. You're awesome. You are awesome. We'll surprise you. One day you're gonna see your T-shirt like on your shirt. I'll get mine, but your shirt, definitely. And especially at our gigs too, man, because you've helped us out and we appreciate it. And then Canucks with Guitars, Mr. Ben Coombs. Really do appreciate it. And then of course we'll get our shirt as well. So a lot of times I forget about that we have merchandise, and it's kind of shame on me. But there are times we're just so busy with everything. It's because it's not physically here. I think that's what it is. But I'll tell you what, we do appreciate it. So yeah, subscribe to the Joe Wentz Project, because Joe, I tell you what, you're a great guitar player, man. And a great professional driver. I saw this video of how you parked that truck, man, that tight spot. Woo! No things, no dents, no problems, But yeah, and so another thing that Robert's Guitar Dungeon was spotlighting on one of the amplifiers was the Super Lead Series 100. And I send them a message that I used to have a 212 version of that amp. And boy, was I stupid at getting rid of that, I think I bought it in like 1982, like summer of 1981, fall of 1981, something like that. No, I know it was the summertime. It was the summertime, so I want to say maybe late summer 1981, because when I bought it at Chicago Music Company in Chicago, not Chicago Music Exchange. I don't think that place was even around back then. But Chicago Music Company, and I remember, I didn't have a car. I lived literally a block and a half north on Kenmore Avenue, right from Wrigley Field. Chicago Music was about maybe a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles. And when I bought the Marshall, I paid $550 for it. The $50 was to recone the other speaker. And once they got that fixed, I walked all the way down Addison Avenue with my two-wheeler, bought the Marshall, strapped it in, walked all the way back with it, man. Because I didn't own a car, because, living by the ballpark, where am I going to park the car? My grandfolks had a car, but, it's for my folks, and, But where am I going to park the car, right? So, what the hell, I'm used to walking anyway. So I walked all the way down, and of course, it's 7th inning stretch, and what people might not remember or know about, during 7th inning stretch, they would open up the gates so you could get in and watch the rest of the ball game for free. So there I am, and this is before they built up that whole area. There used to be a place called Yum Yum Donuts. And I'm going on the back side of Wrigley Field on Clark Street in the back there, and everyone's like, dude, play me a song, yeah. Well, I got no guitar, and it's an amplifier, and I don't have electricity. But you know how people are when they drink. They're having a good time, right? But yeah, it was a 212 Super Lead 100 series, and Robert's Guitar Dungeon made an interesting observation of it, because it is part of the JMP series, which is also part of the plexiglass, So, yeah, yeah, Old Man Dan, it's always great seeing you, buddy. Oh, less than a month till hockey time. That's right. You know, let's see, giving out some good shout outs. But yeah, I like to do that shout out to Robert's Guitar Dungeon. Metal X, what's happening, buddy? You rock, my friend. You totally rock. Um, because again, it's videos I've been watching of him, and he's just right down to earth, and just here it is. And he's got one of these, you know, and he was doing a demo on how far before you get dropouts. And when we bought the first one, see, this is the second one. Deb surprised me with this. It's not even my birthday. All month long, it's Deb's birthday, right?
Yay!
But yeah, so he was demoing it, walking through his house, and no dropouts. And when we bought our first version, that's what we did, because we do have a couple of Sennheisers. We got 3 Sennheisers, 2 guitar wireless, and 1 vocal microphone wireless, and they're the expensive units. Um, see, that's why I didn't want to, go out and spend more money. The whole thing with the wireless thing is that there's so much wireless, and at some point, all the airwaves are being taken up, and then I think the FCC could come out, and they one of the shows they were literally shutting us down during the show, and I didn't know. I thought there was something going on with my guitar jack, and but it was them shutting us down because emergency response vehicles need that airwave frequency and all that. So, and you could get things, and I know I could adjust different frequencies with the Sennheiser, but I mean, $150, it can't really go wrong. Just so I could twirl the guitar around without choking myself with a cord. I like to have fun with it, my friends. No, I don't mean to keep hyping on about Robert's Guitar Dungeon, but he's got a lot of good insight. He's got a really cool Schecter. He plays a lot. He's got a lot of guitars. But how many people out there remember Schecter when they were selling just guitar parts in the Guitar Player magazines, and I'm sure the Guitar World, and Guitar for the Practicing Musician? When I was in high school, we really only had Guitar Player. We had Frets, which was for acoustic guitar, and we had a couple other magazines. We had a recording magazine that would teach you how to do recordings. So if you had multi-track recordings, a lot of times what they would suggest, if you're going to do bass and for cassette, 4 tracks, if you're recording bass, because it's a heavy instrument, and drums, you would want to record those on, let's say, tracks 1 and tracks 4. And anything that was mid-range or high frequency, record in the center tracks, because I can't remember where I read this. One guy was saying, well, tracks 1 and 4 are on the outside, so like it's on the edge of the tape or something like that. It could be my misperception on that theory, but anyways, but that's all we had. But Guitar Player magazine, I used to see the ads for Schecter guitar parts. And honestly, I can't remember when I first saw the first Schecter guitar being sold at a store. And I thought, this is a great idea. They're making the parts anyway, might as well, go ahead. But, again, guys, celebrating with the Ibanez guitar, I've got, a soft spot for the company, because my first good guitar was the Ibanez Artist, a 78 model, and that was all I could afford, but boy, was that a kick-ass guitar, man. Again, another dumb move of getting rid of it. Best amp I ever had. Oh yeah, the 100. That was it. I think that's the one, Adam EVH. That's the one that Robert's Guitar Dungeon was kind of spotlighting, amongst other amplifiers. But yeah, those things are great, man. They're real expensive. They're expensive for a reason. So yeah, we are, I guess, September. I asked a couple of people over at the barn, the bus barn, exactly, the people that are locals down here, when exactly is the height of hurricane season, and they said basically September 10th, in the middle of September. So we're monitoring everything, because of the simple fact of last year, Holy crap, man! It was like the apocalypse, man. Never seen anything like it in my life. And you know, this kind of leads into Terry's, Mr. Terry's GG and G. Oh, yum, yeah, dumb don't, yeah, they were. You love donut, I love them too, man. They were great donuts, man. They were not a chain outlet. They were just a small little shop, and I don't think they made it because I moved out of that area like early to mid 1980s, and you know how it is. You move out and you come back and everything's different, and that whole area kept changing. Cubby Bear is still there though. The Wild Hair Club, that is a reggae club that was down the street. I think they didn't survive, but unless they're going under a different name. And sadly enough, a lot of the blues clubs that were around that area didn't make it. It's, Kingston Mines will always be open. Buddy Guys will always be open. I remember Rosa's club shutting down, but that was further west on Armitage Avenue. And I think someone was trying to really blackball that lady, and that's just a shame when people do that, man. I remember seeing Melvin Taylor and the Slack Band play there, and then my friends and I, we were underage. So, when you're underage, you sneak in, you watch a little bit, you sit on the jam sessions, and you gotta leave because the cops were literally just watching everything, man. But anyways, yeah, Yum Yum Donuts, they were great, man. So, yeah. It's good seeing everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I apologize. I'm more... Nine Phantoms, how are you, buddy? Guitar Hack, how you doing, my friend? Here's something interesting. Guitar Hack, I'm glad that you got your program up and the after gig hangover talk, talking about the gigs and asking people about what gear you use if you're gigging out there, You do that. Ed Dana's another great guy to sub to, man. He's. I think I just watched a video that he put up yesterday. I think he went live for a little while yesterday, earlier. I guess he's did 10 gigs in 10 days, and yeah, that's tough, man. It's we've done a lot of gigs like that too, man, where we just sometimes we would have 5 gigs in 3 or 4 days, and they were not in the same area. There'd be Wisconsin, then we'd go up to Minnesota, and then down to Indiana. It's like, man, you go. I remember one gig we were doing 2 gigs one day at 2 different places. One was outside, one was inside. I had to change my shirt, like Superman. Put on the glasses, and it's Clark Kent. And of course, with a disguise like that, you'll never guess he's Superman. I wouldn't. So let's see what's happening out here in Chatland. Okay, your Metal X, my first good guitar. Oh, I see. My first. Sorry about that. Was the the RG4 470, and I still own it. I'll tell you what. You bought it back in 1993. The only thing I have left, and to me, this is not old, and this goes back to 1996, is my Fender Strat, Mexican-made Fender Strat, cream color with the maple fretboard, and my PV Bandit Trans Tube. Shane from In the Blues, he'll call it like the Silver Stripe, but that is the first version of the Bandit Trans Tube, because I was going to buy another Bandit. The guy at Fairview Music in Downers Grove, Illinois, was telling me that, no, Dave, why don't you just wait, because these are the new line. They're called the Trans Tube series, a new line of amps PV's coming out with. Do you want to transfer your money? No cost. No extra cost. I said, yeah, why not, So I think I waited a month and came in. He gave me the phone call, and boom, picked it up, and I still have that amp. And I'll tell you what, that thing was loud, man. Holy crap, I was really impressed. So, and then I had the Zoom 2020 multi-effects. See, I'll tell you what, I do like pedals, and let's see, I'm trying to think who was doing, oh yeah, Guitar Hack. Sorry about that, my friend. Yeah, you are right, Guitar Hack. You can tell the difference when you do with separate pedals. And here's another thing to consider with separate pedals. You could space the pedals out. So let's say if you got shoes that have a wide foot, wide toe foot, you know what I mean? You won't accidentally hit another switch because with your pedals you can literally separate them. The only reason why I'll use what I use is because for the convenience sake for myself, and then with the looping and being able to just create things live on the fly. So what I'll do is I'll tweak everything, and honestly, the best way to do stuff like this so you don't go like haywire and lose control like of all the options you have, you know, is don't listen to anything else. Just try to pull what you can get out of that, because it's real simple, real easy to. When you do the comparison, it's like going to the music store, nothing but high-end amplifiers, and you only got money for one, and now your kind of brain goes like this, all haywire, because it's like too much, too many options, too much you have of an offer. Where if you just say, okay, I either have this or that, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a bad analogy, but it's sometimes you have to kind of think like that. Plus, Guitar Hack, you also have the Hughes and Kettner Tube Meister. Now, Henning was showing a video today on the new, I think it's the Blood, I don't say, Dark Star, yeah, Dark Star or Blood Star or something like that, 200 Hughes and Kettner. It is a solid state amp. It's kind of like a modeling amp, but it's not like one of these amps that tries to be everything. You could still hear the signature Hughes and Kettner sound. Plus, it's got more options for its red DI box. And I saw another video of a guy doing it, and his whole, I think like 6-minute video. The whole thing was right from the DI out, and it sounded killer. Now, I will agree with Henning when he said on this video that sometimes the knobs you can't tell where everything is at, and I have to agree with him for the convenience sake of when you're gigging, or mostly if you're gigging, because you're kind of like tight for time. The last thing you need is to get out a manual and find out what knob does what, and where's the thing at. Let me see if I catch up on the chat, because I sometimes have a tendency, as you guys know, to keep on going. Adam, if you gotta take off, my friend, take care, brother. You totally rock, man. Totally rock. David Stanford, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's good that today's a better day, man. Mr. Bruce, if you gotta take off, no problem, my friend. Have a great evening. See, I'm catching up, and probably it's like, yeah, Burt Reynolds, isn't that something, Mitch? That is something. Remember all the Smoking the Bandit movies he did? Yeah, if, put it this way, if you're in your mid-50s, we're seeing, when we were kids, all the TV and movie icons and music icons, it's like, man, they're all going. Now we're starting to see, when we were in our 20s, what people that were older than us, now we know what they meant, and how things have changed so much. Yeah, juggling YouTube and work, absolute mayhem. I hear you, buddy. I hear you loud and clear. Oh, David, hanging in there with less pain today. I hope you're all right, my friend. Yeah, here's the thing. It's very hard to say about if you have your health, you have everything. When I used to do back in Chicago, all these senior centers, because we were making a living full time off the music. Now it's more like part time, which I'm fine with that. Trust me, because we don't have to hit a panic button, But when we were doing these senior centers, there's people in there, man, that, and some of them were rehabilitation centers, so there'd be some young people in there as well. But the terminally ill and the people that, you know, would this was going to be their last place, you know, it's kind of a hard thing to say, you know, as long as you have your health. What about the people that really don't have their health, you know? I guess, you know, I don't like to, you know, talk religion and politics, you know, because, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinions and their beliefs and that. But I think really at those moments, if you have good spiritual health, you know, now you're really doing good, because we're all gonna go, you know, nothing lasts forever. Reconnected, my friends. Live and enjoy life while you can. That's right, Guitar Hack. That's right, because you just don't know. And it's, you know, you have to, you know, it's tough. It's tough when a person has to, especially for doctors, you know. It's really tough when you have to make those decisions, or you have to be the one to tell the immediate family. Like when my sister passed, you know, the doctor pulled me out, but just before he told me she's in stage 4. There's nothing they could do, and of course it hits you like a ton of bricks. Oh man, it just knocks you completely down. That's when you realize, you know, how valuable life really is, you know, and the things that we're given as gifts. I always say this, to me, this is a gift from Almighty God. I never take it for granted. I'll never want to misuse it to outplay somebody. Just use it to help, you know, inspire people, you know. There's good competition. You know what good competition is? Is when you help inspire people. That's good competition, you know. Bad competition is when, you know, people want to step all over, and, you know, like King of the Hill, that's mine, that's, you know, the guy or the girl or whoever's in charge, you know, they never got over the fact, you know, be like in their 30s to 40s or whatever, they never got over the fact that somebody in kindergarten stole their red crayon and life is hell and everything, you know. So Mitch, how's your shoulder doing? Yeah, I hope you're doing all right, buddy. For the same company for 44 years. I can't count how many. Oh man, yeah, Mitch, it's tough, isn't it, man? Clive, how you doing, buddy? Oh, yay, man. I hope our good buddy out there, American Devil, is having health problems. Send him some. Yeah. Hey, we hope all you guys don't have to go through the hard times of health issues, you know. Um, it really is tough. It really, really is tough. That's why you do the best that you can in life. And that's why, you know, I always stress, you know, you're a human being before you're anything, right? So what you do in life, you gotta be careful, you know? Everyone makes mistakes. But it's how you recover from the mistakes and redeem yourself and, you know, things of that nature. And of course, this does kind of help take everyone's minds off of troubles, you know. Actually, that's how I started playing. I was 11 years old, 1974, and you know, there was troubles in our life. I really don't like talking too much about it because, you know, the troubles are, to me, is the alcohol abuse, and that, if that could help a person out, then that's when I really would get into details and talk about things of that nature, you know. It's not the person. It's the person that has the problem with, whether it's alcohol or drugs, whatever the case might be, you know. So that's why I do not drink. I made a vow never drink, and in my life I've never had a hangover because I never drank. And boy, I used to get slack on that one. Oh, you're a guitar player. I don't even have any tattoos, you know. I'm not against it. If a person wants to drink, that's their business, you know. Yeah, you know, see, old man Dan, you know, now, old man Dan, yeah, you got some really good videos too, and with the whole awareness that you're doing, and with the Patreon um, account with autism and things of that nature. Um, Part of the things I've done as a musician to help supplement my, when they say living 100% off of music, um, well, part of it was also teaching, because gigs will always come and go. Your income will always fluctuate. We've been very fortunate and very blessed, but you do have to forecast. That's what's so good. Deb is very, very good on forecasting. She could take a year, forecast a year out to see what we need, how we need to get our money, what to spend, what not to spend, and that's so crucial. But part of the income when I was teaching, I also had special needs students, and to me, they were, man, that right there was such a gift. And I have absolutely no formal training or no, degree or anything like that. It's literally put yourself in the driver's seat, and so the thing is that I just got a message from my drummer friend Gordy. He's also a driver. There's another guy that plays in a local metal band. He's a driver of the yellow limousine that hauls livestock. I say that with respect to the kids, my friends. But I had some students that were special needs, and I learned a lot from them. Yeah, wow. I learned a lot from them. So the whole awareness thing, I think that is great, man. When you feel that you made a mark in life that is positive and more than putting yourself first, it's your cause is not about putting you first. Your cause is about using your talents and your knowledge and experiences in life to help others. That right there it's so well worth it. To me, that's really making it. Because you're making a difference in life in general, man. Hey, what's happening, Head Scott? What's happening, my friend? So, yeah. I'll tell you what, for this little guitar, I'm growing like super attached to it. I like the look of it. Yes. Oh, you lost a dog yesterday. Oh, man. Yeah. That's another thing. Our pets, man. They're part of the family. I have a good friend of ours. I don't want to say his name without his permission because, I respect the guy. But his dad passed away. I think this happened last year, the year before last. And I think his dad played with Roy Clark. Roy Clark was an awesome shredder, too. I'd see him on Channel 9 back in Chicago. He advertised a tuning fork. And he opened up with an open scale shred. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. But our friend's dad passed away, who he played with Roy Clark, and then he had a pet rabbit, and he was sad about his pet rabbit, because our pets comfort us. We're humans. I don't care how much of a shredder you are. If you get punched in the nose, you're gonna bleed red, right? Oh, he was walking Monday, but Tuesday he caught. Oh, he couldn't get up. Yeah, that happened with our cat Lance, Sir Lancelot. He was 18 years old, and it's real sad when you see this, and then when you have to take him to the vet, to put him down. It's not that you're being cruel, but we did this to one of our other cats. Spent about $3,000. Our little cat Miss Kitty, and then she had cancer around the jaw, I think it was, or
Yeah.
yeah, and then it helped for about a year, and then that whole year she was suffering. So it's sad. It really is. But when Lance went, it was a tough time. But we had to put him down. Oh, Metal X says hi, Deb.
Hi.
Deb says hi to everybody. Let's see. Anyone watching the game tonight? No, you know what? I, the only game I'm watching is my fingers go up and down the fretboard. I'll tell you what, I really feel stupid with that. Kelly came home Wednesday and took him home. Yeah, I took him to put him down. Yeah, Headley, that's didn't feed the animal. Yeah, let's see. Don't feed the yeah. You know what, Headley? We don't feed animals people food. Oh, I know it's tempting, but that's one thing Deb and I never did with our cats. They got cat food. If you have dog, give the dog food because um the nutrition that they need, their bodies are different than ours, and you know, veterinarians and people who study that, they're going to know more than we do. Or you would hope they would, right? So that's why it's tough. You know, you see them and they look at you and you want to kind of give them something, but yeah, it's a. Now you know what, guys? I don't remember. Maybe our good friend Robert's Guitar Dungeon, he might be able to do some little research on this. And I kind of feel embarrassed because I've been playing for 44 years now, and I've had a lot of Ibanez guitars, and I had a lot of other guitars, you know. And through the catalogs that I had, I don't have any more, which my bag, or bad, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't remember seeing an Ibanez Telecaster. You know? I don't remember seeing one. I could be wrong. That's why, you know, anyone out there, if you know, especially if you're into Ibanez guitars and know more of the history than I do, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure they might have had a couple, but see, the thing is, in the 70s, the guitars that were the most popular were the Les Paul and the Stratton and the Flying V's and the Explorers, but mostly it seemed to be Les Paul and Strat and SG. But if you were to really look at it, it was mostly Les Paul and Strat. So companies like Ibanez and Hondo and other companies that were making copy guitars, you know, they were going after that market to, you know, try to duplicate. And then when the Super Strat came out, let's see, I don't recall an Ibanez Tele either. Yeah, isn't that something? I really don't. And the Super Strat, then of course Ibanez was able to jump on that market. But really, Ibanez, they jumped on a market when Gibson was suing them, and they said, okay, we're going to do everything Ibanez. We're not going to rely on anybody. And that's why I figure, you know, I'll kind of do a little, you know, live chat about the guitar company, because when I look back, of all the companies, Fender and Gibson, you know, they never faded away. You know, they have financial issues, but you never seen them pulled off of the market, and to the point where a few years go by and there's no Fender, there's no Gibson, there's no Martin, there's no Ovation, and there's no Ibanez. You never seen that. But there's, you know, and I'm not saying anything bad about these companies because they are good companies. You know, companies like Dean Guitars, they faded away and then they came back. ESP never went away either. And they're another a good brand. And there's a couple other companies. You know, Schecter was making parts, so they never really went away. They just, you know, surfaced. But Ibanez, you know, because they started in the very early 70s. And then when they got sued, 1978, they started with their artist series and the Musician and the Iceman and a few other models before they went to the Roadstar, because I had a couple of Roadstars, and then they went into the RG series, and then the S series, which was the Sabre, and then, you know, the Tallman, the Tallman guitars, all Ibanez, and so they never really faded off of the planet, where they dropped off the market. They just kept going. And again, that's why I wanted to do something in honor of a company that I liked, and I'm not sponsored by them or anybody. It's just something I feel like I would like to do. The Ibanez V. Oh yeah, oh yeah. To get my hands on a fireman. You know what? I wonder what that actually is. I do know. It was I want to say maybe 2009, 2010. Ibanez, they had like that star body guitar. The same one. It's kind of the same design that BC Rich had and Jackson had. And I forget what it's called. They had a version of it that was the way the paint job was. When you go like this, you would move it. It would change, like it would change your color. Let's see. At one time, I had an old ESP Strat with an actual Fender headstock. I have never seen another one. That's interesting. That could have been the first incarnation of ESP. Well, I'll tell you what. There's what's this guy? Metal Max, I think it is, or Guitar Max. He's been showing these. Oh yes, the upside down. Yes, Paul Gilbert's. Okay, it's called the Fireman. Okay, Metal X. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, that's a great guitar too, man. Yeah, this guy was showing an Yngwie Malmsteen Fender signature model guitar for $145. It's made in China with the Fender logo on it, with an actual serial number from Fender, and claims it's made in USA. I mean, the guitar, it looks great. The Chinese Gibsons, they do look good. I'll admit it. The Chinese Paul Reed Smiths and some of the other, like the 175, like the Gibson 175 hollow body, and the ES335s. I mean, they're really great looking guitars. My only problem is, why do you want to put Fender and Gibson and, I mean, why don't you put your own name on it? Because when Ibanez made copies, they put Ibanez. Hondo put Hondo. And Lotus put Lotus. Cort had Cort. Magnum had Magnum. Because I had a Magnum Les Paul copy in the late 70s. So I don't understand what's wrong with these companies, why they don't want to put their own name on it. It's like, it's almost devious. It's almost like a person is up to doing counterfeiting, like they're purposely up to doing that, and to rip people off. And like, whoa, ain't good. No, that's wrong. That's just simply wrong. But anyways, Ibanez did have this guitar. I wish I could remember this. It was more of a rounded off shape, but it wasn't like a Les Paul. Almost as close as I could get to a description is a cross between the Iceman and the Dean Cadillac. Because the Dean Cadillac was almost like a Les Paul, except this part came down and it was almost like an Explorer type of horn, which I thought was a really cool design. And I can't find the design, or can't even remember the name of this Ibanez guitar. And I remember when I was at Guitar Center in Naperville, Illinois, seeing one, I thought, well, maybe I'll grab one. Now I wish I would have, because usually what happens is, if the designer does not fully give the company enough rights for that design, and there's a falling out, and they take their patent back or their design, now they can say, okay, you got to shelve all those guitars, you got to get rid of them, and you got to burn them, or do whatever you need to do, because I don't want to see my design out there with your name on it, because there's a falling out. And, I mean, these things happen. Now this particular model is a RGA, where I have the RG. This is my dumpster guitar. I literally found this in the dumpster. Not bad, huh? And so if we have EJ's Guitars, and EJ's a great guy from Texas, man. Sub to his channel too. And if our good friend Robert's Guitar Dungeon, because I got a lot of respect for that guy. This is the Ibanez Edge. Let me actually take this bar off so you can see. We all know what the whammy bar itself looks like. But see, here's the difference. With the Ibanez Edge, the true Ibanez Edge, your tuners are here, and where you get your Allen wrench to unlock the little blocks, they're here. But even on some of the new Ibanez Prestige, and I think that's also what EJ's guitar has, and I know for a fact on the Ibanez Gem Junior, because I was going to buy that before I bought this, this is the whammy bar setup, where it looks almost identical to a traditional Floyd Rose. So your tuners are here, and where you unlock, it's back here, just like on a Floyd. So I don't know what's going on with that, unless it's their way to save money and continue to keep getting product out there. Because God only knows what's going on with the future of guitars as far as woods are concerned. Because the more woods get scarce, the more we're going to start to see, guitars made out of cardboard or something, pressed particle board. Or when back in the 70s and 80s, if you were to say something like that, people say, oh, there's no way I'm going to buy a plastic guitar or a guitar made of this, that, or the other, or recycled water bottles or something. But the sad truth is, there is more manufacturing with guitars in this generation, far more than back in the 70s, and 80s. And I think things really started to get out of control. Kind of like Apple. Now Apple iPhone 10 Mark II or whatever the hell it is, Excuse me. Whenever a company feels like they got to outdo themselves constantly, that's when you can kind of run into a danger factor right there, because you can only got so many ideas, right? But then again, if you rehash the same old, then you kind of get bashed there. So some of these companies, they kind of like, they really do depend on us people, the consumers, And the companies that don't, either they got some really brilliant ideas and a whole crap load of money to float their company, plus the CEO of that company still has his day gig, his day job, because it's tough out there, man. It's, it is not easy. Or they're like on the brinks of just like right here on this fence and getting ready to fall over. Hopefully they got enough people to pull them back. Apple isn't about making better. They're about convincing their... Yeah, you know what? Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? And here's the whole thing, guys. Let's see. I subscribe to... Yeah, see, this is great. Again, guys, I am all for people. When we do our live chats, we want to sub to each other's channel. I am 100% for that. I don't see any problems with that at all. I'll do that, and I'll sub to people, and I won't ask if they want to sub to me. I'll leave that up to all you guys' decision. But there is a reason why I do the things that I do, and like when I say, if you guys got originals, if you want me to play them, if you want me to play along with them, fine. If you don't want me to play along with them, fine. But you still want me to play your song, that's fine. That's cool. You don't have to send me money unless you want to. That's your decision. But the reason why I do these things. Oh, that's cool. Glad. It's like Guitar Girl. She made a comment that she kind of got inspired by what I was saying, and actually I forget what the hell it was I was saying. But it kind of inspired her, and that's what this whole platform is. The reason that I do these things, not so I could say, yeah, look at me, isn't this wonderful? No, I come from a time, like some of you guys have, where you send in demo tapes, You join this organization, you pay money for this fee, and there's this songwriting fee, and there's that songwriting fee, and there's this type of battle of the bands, but there's a fee, and there's this, that. And all it really turned out to be over a long course of time was a whole lot of money being spent and very, very little return in that investment. I mean, just like, enough to maybe buy something like this at maybe $300-400. You know what I mean? After you spend all this money. That's why. Yeah, oh yeah, 1963. That's it, man. A lot of us were the same age, so we come from that same era. So we remember the times when we didn't have all of these conveniences and all this. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. So okay guys, and I don't mean to be like, all over the place, tangents and all that. When I hear people bashing other amplifiers, or this is a piece of junk, or that's a piece of junk, and this, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Very much so entitled to their opinion. Again, that's what I like about Robert's Guitar Dungeon, because he's very upfront. Hey, this is my opinion, and I agree with him 100%. You get someone says something, like someone says something bad about Ibanez. Hey, that's fine. Go right ahead, because that's your opinion. You're more than welcome to have it. Or if you don't like Dave, that song you did, I don't like. That's fine. That's 100%. Your right to have your opinion. But when people get and see, I remember I didn't even have a pedal at first and said, yeah. Mr. Arvin Gart, how are you? Now, I do apologize if I mispronounce people's names, man. I sometimes I used to have a tendency of doing that, and I really do apologize. But yeah, in 1978, let's see, I was buying gear at Chicago Music Company, because I remember I got my Magnum Les Paul, because I didn't get my 78 Ibanez Artist until late 79, maybe early 1980. I have to really kind of think. The wheels got to go back, Maybe it was in 1980, because I had the Magnum for a little while, and then I remember, I had the guitar in layaway. That's how I had to buy it, But boy, when I got that guitar, man, that was it for me, man. That thing was great. Steve Miller, yeah. The Ibanez Artist I had was, I believe the model number, or if you want to call it that model number, 350, although it didn't really say 350, but it was the thin body, because later on they had a thicker body like a Les Paul, but it was double cutaway. Had the sustain block under the bridge, half bone, half brass nut. Two tri-sound pickups, switches, three-way switches, along with the toggle switch. Two Super 88 pickups, Flying Fingers pickup, and then I pulled the bridge out and I stuck a DiMaggio dual sound, which I really didn't need to do that. But when I pulled that pickup out, I noticed how it was dipped in wax. I mean, Ibanez really went all out on this guitar, man. And that whole year, they had that line of guitars along with the Musician. The Musician was the next to a series, and you had two versions of it, a flat and one that was archtop. And then they had one kind of like the Artist, but almost like the Epiphone Genesis model, or Epiphone Genesis model, where it was almost like an SG. And they had a double neck, and one of the guys that played in the band America, they had that song Horse with No Name, America, that guy played that guitar. Bob Weir, also from the Grateful Dead, played that guitar. And then of course the George Benson model and the Paul Stanley model. My friend, one of my best friends, Andy Rios, he had a Paul Stanley model, a 1979 Paul Stanley model. Kick-ass guitar, man. Yeah, you love the Genesis. Remember that? And Epiphone also had another guitar that was kind of like the Genesis, but it was kind of weird because it had flat, and then it had like a contour that came up. Uh, yeah, you know what? Here's the deal. Yeah, David, here's the deal with the Digitech. Say, Digitech pedaling, you get sounding better. Yeah. Oh yeah, last 20 years. You're gonna be here's the thing. I don't know what's going on with Digitech, and it's kind of sad. Um, I mean, I remember you have Digitech, you have DoD, and back in the day, if you couldn't afford the Boss, you most likely bought a DoD pedal. I got a little case filled with some DoD pedals. Um, and then, MXR. So you had, back in the day, like, let's say going back to 1978, you had Boss, you had MXR, and you did have DoD, and then Digitech was the up version of the DoD. But anyways, I would really rather that they would have the amp sims and the distortions analog, and then everything else they could do digital. But for the convenience, there is something that's really cool. When I do these tracks, that bass you hear is coming right from that pedal. So when I'm in a situation that I have to do everything live on the fly, and I don't have the space or the time to drag all this gear, the bass, because my wife's got a BC Rich Warlock bass, drag that out and drag this out and drag that out for the convenience. That's why I use what I use. But a music store I worked at had a box. Oh, let's see this one. Wow, now that's cool. Yeah, the Hughes and Kettner Vortex. Yeah, it's 2003. It's awesome. Yeah, I've got this little Hughes and Kettner. Now it's the amp because I know Hughes and Kettner was making a couple of pedals. That is, and of course also the amps too. But they did have I want to say it was a rotary, or yeah, like a rotovibe pedal. But the Hughes and Kettner that I have is called the Edition Blue 60. Analog, but it is solid state. But man, it's got a nice punchy sound because it's a 112 60-watt amp that's got a closed back cabinet, but it only comes back to about a one. There's a 1 inch gap along the whole bottom of it, like kind of like almost like a bass port. And nice and light, and definitely has a nice punchy sound. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's okay, Metal. See, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the Vortex. That's what you have. That half stack, right? I'm almost positive it was the Vortex. They also had a 212 model, and that model was also advertised to handle a 7-string guitar. I think that was one of their selling points. I could be wrong. It could be another model, but I do know Hughes and Kettner advertised. Maybe it was the Warp. They had another model called the Warp. Warp 7, I think it was. And I remember seeing an ad in Old Musician's Friend and AMS, an AMS magazine, where that was their selling point, to handle all the 7-string guitars. The cabinet I have is a Crate 412. Metalux, I got a Crate 412 cabinet with the Celestines. The cabinet I have was really for the Blue Voodoo series. And it's got the switch in the back to go from 16, 8, or 4 ohms. It's got 2 inputs, so if you want to put 2 heads, you could either split I can't remember if it's this side and that side, or top and bottom. So you could, it's almost like a stereo cab. But it does have another output, so if you want to daisy chain it. So that's really cool. But yeah, what I was going to say is some people would say this sounds like junk, that sounds like junk, this is junk, that's junk. Some of you guys out there, you remember some of the old pawn shop amplifiers. And when I mean pawn shop amplifiers, I really mean the cabinet was maybe 3.5 inches wide, and it stood about maybe 2.5 feet tall. And as far as its, the width of it, not the width of the cabinet, but, maybe it was about 18 inches wide, and it had a little 8-inch speaker. And you'd click it on, and that knob that clicked on was your, yep, drops off, comes back in, that's how you do this. those are the amplifiers that we had. And, you know, I guess what it is, when you don't have much, you learn to deal with it and you learn how to pull sounds out of it, because really, in essence, your sound comes from your hands first. It really, really does. Because it's how you're going to attack the strings, how you're going to approach playing them. You know, all your dynamics will come from you first. Even though today, with all the modeling, and I'll even admit, even on this, my Digitech, if I turn my volume down, remember how we roll? We don't really get that roll off like we used to, you know what I mean? That's what I miss. What's the... Oh, Metal X. What's the lock of the day? Let's hear it. I kind of... Oh. I have to think about that, Metal X. You know, I'm kind of lost for words, buddy. Okay, so, you know, you get a really good distortion sound out of this, you know, and again, it is, you know, digital. But some of you guys, again, see, I come from that same era you do, where we had the pedals, we had the amp, everything goes in the front, then later on we found out about effects loops. Wow, what a great concept, an effects loop. I remember before we had channel switching amps. Thanks, David, I appreciate it. Oh, no problem about it. Oh, the lick. Oh, what's the lick of the day? Okay, I'm going to do several of them, okay? All right, since you asked that, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a song off of my, I think it's my Experience CD I've got. Yeah, Experience. And this is called Thrill Ride. And what it is based off of, arpeggios. Now, very seldom do I do any sweeping. I'll do 3-string sweeps. I'm not really good at doing full, you know, 5-6 string sweeps, because I really don't like the sound of it, you know. I mean, I think it's kind of cool. It's more of a combination of not liking the sound and not liking the feel. I want to say mostly it's not liking the feel. You know, for my right hand, it's like all it does is this. It's not really, it isn't much it's doing. And I'm not knocking it. And there's some guys out there, guys and gals, they're fantastic at it. So this is not knocking anything they're doing. This is on me, what I personally like and what I don't like. I've spent so much time working on the picking technique. Because Al Di Meola was one of my biggest influences. So if you want to say the lick of the day, one of my favorite types of licks that I'll do, and I know I do this kind of a lot, but after a while you kind of develop your own signature sound and style, you know, you model it off of other people and it just stays with you, is what I call a circular pattern. It's modal, but I don't really think in terms like that. So I used to do this on my acoustic a lot, and I have to kind of get back into it, because when you're doing as many shows as we've been doing throughout the years and all these different styles, it's not like you could just work on one thing to shred and then you're playing a 4-hour gig of nothing but shred, and you got people that they don't like that, but they're paying you good money, you know, because I also do the classical and the flamenco style guitar, and you know that's really what's paying my bills. But anyways, so one of my favorite licks is that, doing a circular motion pattern. You're doing 2 strings, it's nothing really super hard. So I used to be able to do this on my acoustic where I would sweep, jump with my pinky. So it'd be, this might come out sloppy, but yeah, I apologize about that, guys. If it inspires somebody, that's what it's all about, right? So not really too good. But when I was heavily practicing that, I'd be able to do it on my acoustic, and it was very, very clean and accurate. And what it was, it trains your pinky to be the lead finger, trains you for an upstroke, because you're basically doing this, you know, again. And jumping with your pinky. And so forth, you know. Another one I like to do is 4-note circular motion, 3 notes on one string and 1 note on the other string. You know, you get this and combined it, you know. But what I was going to say before I kind of run out of time here, this song called Thrill Ride, okay, so this is based off what I call picked arpeggios. Ace Frehley got me on electric guitar. Oh yeah, you know, you're hired. I love it, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. You know, that's why if you see my other channel, you see me doing all these other different styles because, you know, I would do one shred thing, and the next thing I do some classical guitar. And here's the deal, and then especially with these weddings, you know what it's like when you're doing fast motion all the time. It's like your whole body tempo is da 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 da. It's fast. You know what I mean? You even think that way. But you ever heard the terminology when people say, "Oh yeah, he could play fast, but I bet he can't play slow." And what they mean is to play, you know, slow with a lot of emotional impact. So you could do that also with metal, and I'm not degrading him at all because he's a great guitar player. He shreds. He shredded at a very slower, I don't say a very slow tempo, but he shredded at a moderate tempo, was Dimebag Darrell. He put so much emotion into some of his stuff, man, that, dude, I could care less if the guy never played like Yngwie or this guy or that guy. He was just, boom, very, very impactful, and he did some of his shredding, but he was not trying to be like the fastest gun in the West. He wanted to sound good, and man, incredible guitar player. So I would also have to learn how to immediately go from one gig of shredding to the next gig playing very elegant and, you know, very, very smooth, you know, with a clean overdrive, let's say. Yeah, Darrell, he was quite he really was, man. And just do your whole notes. That's what I mean with having a good, strong picking technique, is when you use it with a cleaner overdrive. Or even with a clean sound. I don't hit anything. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, with this track called Thrill Ride, it's based off arpeggiating a G minor chord to a F major, to an E flat major, to a D major. So when people ask me, Dave, you don't play any arpeggios. I had a guy ask me that. I said, of course I play arpeggios. I just do it differently. That's all. Now, what I took was the drum patterns came off of the Boss DR880 drum machine. The bass was actually Deb's bass, and I was actually able to break down the G minor chord because with a 4-string bass, if you're gonna, okay, you're on your A string, D string, G string, and then your B string. Those notes you got to pick up down here on the G. So you have to learn how to jump. Because I don't have the, I mean, I got the bass here, but I don't have it, out and about. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was a great guitar player. Dimebag was, man. He was unbelievable. So was like Rory Gallagher, because I had an album that, speaking of like, great guitar players, and Guitar Girl with her Rory Caster. I had an album called Follow Me, I think it was, or Follow You. But I remember 1979 on the Loop FM 98 back in Chicago, and the Mighty Met 95.5, 95.5. They would play the song Follow Me or Follow You. Why do I keep missing that thing? And then on that same album was the song Bad Penny. And Rory Gallagher was a great guitar player. But anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this while I got some time here. So and then see how bad I mess it up. And it's my own original, right? So it doesn't happen. We don't play your stuff in a while. 1, 2, 3. something like that, guys. It's been so long since I played that. But that's an example of using arpeggios to, create a rhythmic pattern. Because I used to listen to all these, fusion albums, because that's kind of also what inspired me to, open up my mind a little bit and everything. When I heard Demiola do all this stuff, I noticed he's not really playing rhythms, but then on the acoustic stuff, he'll be playing all these rhythms. But on his electric stuff, it's more using riffs and melodies as a platform for rhythm. So once I learned about what I could do with arpeggios, Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's what I mean. A lot of this is a lot of your riffs. Oh, well, thank you, man. I do appreciate it, man. There are times I'll forget certain things. I'm only human. But again, it comes from the time I started playing guitar, and all the rock of the '70s, and being part of the very first generation of shredders, that came out in the '80s, being part of that whole scene, and actually, a lot of you guys, even if you were playing back then, live bands or whatever, you were still part of that generation, because these are the things that we were hearing that was inspiring us. So that's what I say about the first generation of shredders. But that generation, a lot of guys were also studying classical guitar and listening to things. It wasn't all speed. There was definitely more to it than that. And that's why having a good, strong picking technique also helped me when I would do my acoustic stuff. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, Metalex. I really appreciate it, man. Again, I try to be as best I can, but I'm not out to outdo anybody. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I got a... Oh, yeah, Dimebag stories, man. Yeah, Dimebag was a great guitar player, man. I'll tell you what, when Pantera came out, and especially when... because I saw pictures of them, I think back in the 80s, when they were kind of like a hair band, but not really. I don't want to put them in that category. But when they just broke away from all that and became Pantera, look out, man. There was some bone crushing stuff, and we were very honored to see Pantera played at one of the Ozfest concerts. I want to say maybe it was in 2006, something like no. I want to say more like 2002, 2003. Yeah, late 70s. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah. With the tapping and the use of the Phase 90 and all that was just, man, that was kind of like the birth, I want to say the first birth of shred in the rock sector. Because you had guys like John McLaughlin and Al Di Meola, and Paco de Lucia, who was more flamenco, but oh my God, was he incredible. Holy crap. I've seen the Super Guitar Trio back in 1983 and saw Di Meola live quite a few times, and Al Di Meola, I want to say, was probably one of the main guys that really inspired the whole shred generation, because he was dangerous with his picking technique, man. Holy crap. Using an overdrive, not distortion, just overdrive in the amp a little bit of push there, and holy crap. Very clean, very fast, and had the ability within his shred to speed it up and slow it down. That and the dynamics. Oh yeah, you mentioned about the Ozfest. Yeah, that's where I met my wife. Ozfest 1998 at not Tinley Park, up in Alpine Valley, Wisconsin, and then we've been to every single one since. Oh, we should all do Discord and talks. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Once I get all this, see, I'm still getting used to all this, and I know when we get a laptop, I want to definitely do some, like, hosting, the Hangouts, and do some interviews with basically with all you guys. Definitely want to interview Joe Winch and Ben Coombs, Jim Dietrich, Adam EVH. Definitely, those guys help. They did one of the first interviews with me on Hangouts. See, I do everything on my phone right now because that's all I know. Unfortunately, I wish the mobile would be able to do that. Anywhere you could hang out in Discord and everything. Because there's a lot of good conversations we would have because there's a lot of experience from all you guys got something to share. Would love to definitely do an interview with Robert's Guitar Dungeon. Definitely. He does a great cause. He's got great insight. He's got great experience, and I'll tell you, man, I really do like his channel. I did see Vinny, and I'm at 2003 Astros, and that was it. Then that was 2003 when Pantera played. You saw him backstage too. Nice. I did do, because sometimes Washburn and Ibanez guitars would be there. I remember playing that Washburn guitar. Do you remember the black Washburn that almost was kind of like the Paul Stanley model, but wasn't exactly, but it was a Washburn. That same guitar I played at one of the Ozfests. And it was cool because, all of a sudden here comes this crowd of people by the booth. And I remember the neck pickup. The was not screwed properly to the ring casing and it was falling into the cavity, And the guy said, yeah, he needed to do more work on it, but it was more of the prototype. But awesome guitar player. Awesome guitar player was awesome guitar, So, anyways, my friends, yeah, Robert's Guitar Dungeon. Plus, yeah, he is hilarious. He's a great guy, man, Awesome, my friends. So, anyways, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I'm get ready to call it an evening before I run out of my time, and we're kind of shutting our YouTube, not YouTube down, but where we don't get on the internet like around 9 o'clock because we're going to sleep. But anyways, my friends, thank you so much, and again, if you have not subscribed to Robert's Guitar Dungeon, go ahead, check it out. Subscribe to everybody. Joe Winch Project, Jim Dietrich, Adam EVH. Hit all those guys, man. Another guy that's pretty cool is the Circle of Tone. But everyone, take care and check out Guitar Girl's Rotary Telecaster. She's on to something really cool there. So, all right, my friends, till next time, we'll see about doing one on Saturday. We'll let you know. Give you one of those bad boys. Give you one of these bad boys. Y'all have a great day. Take care. Until next video. Remember, always desire to inspire, because that's what it's all about, my friends. Hold the doors of opportunity open, and we will see you next time. Take care. God bless. Rock and roll, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.